All right. Anybody any doubt about 54? No. Any doubt about 55? Okay, one thing about 55 is this is the rod of length 2a, right? This is sliding here and this one is sliding here. They are asking what is the locus of the midpoint. Of course, somebody can take this as x1, y1 and then this will be 2x1, 0, this will be 0, 2, you apply distance formula and equate it to 2a, you will get it. Okay. Anybody want to explain anything else? Why the locus of this point is a circle? As this length is 2a and as it is sliding, the locus of this point is a circle. Anybody want to explain? Let's say here they gave x and y axis. Let me give another question. This is 3x plus 4y equal to 11. This is 4x minus 3y plus 2 equal to 0. P is a variable point on this. Q is a variable point on this. Such that PQ length is always 20. What is the locus of this midpoint? Anybody want to tell the answer? Yes, Sachinand. Is everybody clear about the question?
Sir, parabola?
No.
Circle only.
Circle only. Do you want to tell the equation of the circle?
Sir, the equation of the circle will be with the midpoint and the origin as the ends of the diameter.
But midpoint is not fixed, it is variable. We want locus of the midpoint. The question was P is a variable point on this line, Q is a variable point on this line, such that PQ is always 20. What is the locus of midpoint of PQ? Distance from this point to this point is always fixed. Am I correct or wrong?
Yes, sir, fixed.
Why?
So it is a perpendicular distance. No.
It is not perpendicular distance because PQ can be even like this. Midpoint is here, and I am saying this length is always constant. Even the P is changing, Q is changing, M is changing. Between M and this point is always same.
Sir, is it x square plus y square equals 10 square?
Are you sure center will be origin?
Let's check it once again.
Sir,
Yes, please.
3x plus 4y equals to 11. Is that line is x-axis and given one is y-axis?
No.
Two
3x
different
plus
lines.
4y equal to 11 is a line.
Okay.
4x minus 3y plus equal to another line.
Okay, sir.
In a right angle triangle, which point will be circumcenter?
Yes, sir.
Midpoint of the hypotenuse. So if this length is A and this length is A, what is this length will be?
A.
A. That means even though P is moving, Q is moving, M is moving, but this length is always A, right?
Yes,
That's why the
sir.
circle is this as a center and radius A because OM is always A. So x square plus y square is A square here. In the same way here, this is 10, this is 10. So this should be always 10. If you call this as C, CM is equal to 10 means what is the locus of M? A circle with C as a center and 10 as a radius. What is the center? So all these two lines will get the center.
Sir, it is quarter circle now, sir.
No? What about this side? What about this side? P can be here now. I said P is any variable point on this line. Q is any variable point on this line. P can come here, Q can come here. Right? In fact, this is one of the way to draw a circle apart from the compass way. Let's say you have one groove here, another groove here. Take one rod. This can slide here and this can slide here. And here I have a hole. I'll put a marker here and move this like this. Okay, then I'll get a circle. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And if it's not midpoint, if it is somewhere else, we'll get an ellipse. That we'll see later why it is an ellipse. If it is midpoint, you'll get a circle. Right? Okay. So, as I said, pure geometry is very useful for us. We know in a right angle triangle, midpoint of hypotenuse, all these three lengths are equal. Because this is 10, this is 10, this has to be 10. So, locus of that point is a circle. That is very simple. Right? How many of you tried up to question number 65 in mains material?
Sir, I tried.
Sir, me.
Okay.
I tried.
Okay, good. So this 55, you can directly say locus of the center is that the midpoint is circumcenter means midpoint of hypotenuse, and that is also equidistant from the origin with the distance e. Okay, 56 I would like to discuss. Okay, 56, first of all, let me explain the question. This question, normally we say in JEE advanced exam, they don't repeat the questions. In JEE mains, they may repeat. JEE advanced, generally they don't repeat questions. Okay, but almost same, this question given 3 times in JEE advanced. Of course, given in other exams later on. The question is, there is a circle with the 0, 0 and a, 1 and ends of diameter. That is x square plus y square minus ax minus b equal to 0, or x into x minus a plus y into y minus 1 equal to 0. They gave one circle. From this we can identify the ends of diameter 0, 0 and a, 1. Passing through a, 1, there will be so many chords like this. Okay, there are a lot of chords passing through a, 1. They all have midpoints. This will have one midpoint. Okay. There are a lot of midpoints of the cards. We want x-axis should pass through two of them. That is, this is x-axis. Okay, maybe two midpoints are lying on that. That means what? X-axis bisecting this card and this card, but it is not bisecting other cards. Maybe this is greater, this is smaller, or it is not even meeting, or this is shorter, this is longer, right? Okay. So there are many cards passing through a comma 1, but x-axis should bisect only two of them, not more, not less. For that, what should be condition on A? A should be greater than 8 or less than 8. That's the question overall. Okay. So different methods are, even though this question is easier, like this, some other questions can be asked. So I want to discuss some 2-3 methods. Method 1. If this is x-axis, means here y coordinate is 0, here also y coordinate is 0. For no other midpoint, y coordinate should be 0, right? So among all these midpoints, only two midpoints should have y coordinate 0 because y coordinate 0 means they are on x-axis. If y coordinate is 0 here for the midpoint and one end is a comma 1, if you want to tell what is the y coordinate of this point?
-1.
-1 because midpoint of these two should be this. And what is the midpoint of these two is this same. Here y coordinate should be -1. Okay. So that means on the circle, how many points should be there with y coordinate -1?
2.
2. That means y equal to -1 line should intersect the circle twice. Right? Simply put y equal to -1 here, we'll get a quadratic equation in terms of x. We should get two x values because we want two such points. Okay, we want one here and one here. So when I put y equal to -1, you get x square plus 1 minus ax plus 1 equal to 0. X square minus ax plus 2 equal to 0. This equation should have distinct roots. This equation should have distinct roots. That means b square minus 4ac should be greater than 0. That is a whole square minus 4 into 1 into 2 should be greater than 0. So a square should be greater than 8. That's the condition. Okay, is everybody clear about the question and solution? I'm ready to explain once again if somebody wants.
Understood.
All right. Okay, method 2. Maybe somewhat similar, but still. Okay. Let the midpoint of chord be k comma 0. Because on x-axis, I'm taking it as k comma 0. Now, if you know midpoint, how you find the equation of the chord? Long time back, we derived one formula S1 equal to S1. I'm going to use that for this. S1 means x into k plus y into 0 minus ak by 2 minus ax by 2 minus y by 2 minus 0. This is S1. What about S11? Here directly put k square plus 0 square minus ak minus 0. Okay, we got a line. I took the midpoint anywhere as k comma 0 and I. Okay. Now, what that line should do? It should pass through a comma 1. We want a line. Let me take a point on x-axis having that as midpoint is a chord and that chord should pass through a comma 1 because we are talking about chords pass through a comma 1. So I have to put a comma 1 in this. So when you substitute a, first of all, let me write this line properly. Okay, where is the x term? Kx minus ax by 2. Where is the y term? Minus y by 2. Where is the constant? Minus ak by 2 plus ak, that is plus ak by 2 minus k square equal to 0. This should pass through a comma 1. And a substitute will get ka minus ka by 2 minus 1 by 2 plus ak by 2 minus k square. Minus ak by 2 plus ak by 2 cancel. So what is the quadratic equation I got? K square minus ka plus 1 by 2 equal to 0. Actually, this is very easy, but still, some other question, this method may be more useful. That's why I'm telling. So this is a quadratic equation. If I solve this, I'll get two values of k. One for this one point, one for this point. That means this quadratic equation should have distinct roots. So here also delta should be greater than 0. That is what is this minus a whole square minus 4 into 1 by 2 should be greater than 0. Is it 1 by 2 or something wrong? Kx plus 0y minus x by 2 minus 2. This is not 0 by 2. This should be, this is 0 by 2, correct? This is okay. Now we wrote kx minus x by 2 minus 8 by 2 plus 8 plus 8 by 2 minus this. Now I kept the a comma 1. But here I got 2. Here also I should get a square greater than 8. So I'm just compare some small mistake. Okay, first copy this, those who have not copied this part. This one I took the midpoint as a k comma 0, S1 equals S1 S1 is good. X into k, y into k comma 1. So a here, b here. Can anybody find any mistake in this here? Some substitution somewhere.
Sir, in the last step, it should be k minus a square by 2.
K minus a square by 2. Here?
No, sir, the last step.
Here, okay. So this step is okay, right? Kx. S1 equal to S11, is the step okay?
Sir, where you substituted a comma 1.
Okay, I substitute a comma 1, I kept a here. Oh, this is not, this is a square by. Thank you. Okay, so the quadratic case will be different. So this is not getting cancelled. Okay, So Ka plus Ka by 2 is 3Ka by 2. So I'll get the quadratic equation as K square minus 3Ka by 2. 3A by 2 K. Next plus A square by 2 plus 1 by 2. Okay. So for this B square minus 4AC should be greater than 2. So delta greater than 0. What is B square? 9A square by 4. Minus 4 times this means 2A square minus 2 greater than 0. So we got it. So this is A square by 4 minus 2 greater than 0. From that we get A square greater than 8. Yeah. So this one may look complicated here, but in some other question it may be useful because they may not give this x-axis every time. They may give some other line. We'll discuss one more method. Okay. Another time we discussed this that if I give you a circle and give a point inside or on or outside doesn't matter. If you draw many chords through that, take this midpoint, this midpoint, this midpoint, this midpoint, this midpoint. What are the locus of all these midpoints?
Circle.
A circle with
Center and the point as ends of diameter.
this center of the original circle and the given point as ends of diameter. Why? We simply discussed angle in a semicircle 90 degrees. That's all. If you take the midpoint of the chord and join to the center, that angle should be 90. So locus of all these points is a circle with these two ends of diameter. So now I'll talk about x-axis later on. Pass through A, on there are a lot of chords. Take all the midpoints. The locus is a circle with this point and this center as ends of diameter. Okay, locus of midpoints of all. Okay, so this center is what, a by 2 comma 1 by 2. This a comma 1 by ends of diameter. Now among all these midpoints, two midpoints should lie on x-axis. Means for this new circle that I am talking about, x-axis should intersect twice. Means it should be a chord. For a circle, if you want a line to be chord, from the center perpendicular distance should be less than radius. So from any point to x-axis, what is the distance? Y coordinate. That is 3 by 4. From the center, the perpendicular distance to from center perpendicular distance to x-axis. That should be less than the radius. And what is the radius? This length is take that, half of that is this, half of that is the radius. So 1/4 of from here to here distance is the radius of the new circle. So we get this connection. Satyanarayana, understood this third method?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Anybody doubt about 57?
Yes, sir.
Anybody want to tell how to do 57? Some of you completed, right? So anybody want to tell how to do 57?
Sir, the two given circles are concentric, no, sir.
Okay.
So from a point x comma y on the larger circle, we will draw two tangents which are touching a smaller circle, and the length and the perpendicular distance from the center to the tangents will be the radius, and those two tangents will form two right angle triangles, sir.
Yeah, you are trying to do from the figure. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you can do it from the figure. Yes, they give two concentric circles. That's why you take this point or this point or this point or this point. The tangent length is constant. Why? If this is the radius of the inner circle R2 and this is the R1, definitely this length of tangent is square root of R1 square minus R2 square, whichever point you take. Right? So that is easy from the figure. Just find the radius of the two circles and use root R1 square minus R2 square. You can also do root S11 formula. How is that? You take any point on the first circle as x1 comma y1, then we know it should satisfy this. So x1 square plus y1 square plus 4x1 minus 6y1 minus 12 equal to 0. Keep it like that. Now what is the length of tangent from x1 y1 to second circle? Square root of x1 square plus y1 square plus 4x1 minus 6y1 minus 4 plus 4. This is a formula for root s1. But x1 and y1 should satisfy the first equation, that is this. So in the place of this, by using this, what I can write? I can write 12, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
when this 12 that side, substitute that 12 here, root 12 plus 4, root 16, answer will be 4. Okay, so you can do algebraically like this or understand concentric circles, either way is okay. Okay, both 58 and 59, we have formula tan theta by 2 equal to r by root S11. You can use that, you'll get tan theta by 2. But if they want answer in terms of sin theta, you can write sin theta equal to 2 tan theta by 2 by 1 plus tan square theta by 2. Maybe 59 is more direct, directly tan theta by 2 equal to r by root S11 you may get. Okay. Okay. 60 again, in a sense, similar to one of the question that we discussed just now. Here the two circles are concentric. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Whenever two circles are concentric, you take any point on the bigger circle, draw the two tangents. Obviously, this angle will be constant. Okay, let us say this circle radius is R2 and this is R1 and this is theta by 2. Then sin theta by 2 is opposite is R2 and this is R1. You will get sin theta by 2. Okay. If you know R2 and R1, you can do this. I think in the present question, if somebody finds R2 and R1, this will come root g square plus f square minus c. This one, when you, after simplifying, it becomes g square plus f square minus c into mod sin alpha. Because you will get g square minus g square cos square alpha, which is g square sin square alpha. F square minus f square cos square alpha, which is f square sin square alpha. Minus c sin square alpha. So in all of them, you will get sin square alpha common. So when you get these to cancel, you get theta by 2 equal to alpha, theta equal to 2 alpha. Because they are concentric circuits. Even if you don't realize that, simply take it as x1 y1 and use tan theta by 2 equal to r by root s11. But x1 y1 should satisfy these equations. So in the place of x square plus y square plus 2gx1 plus 2y1, you will be able to substitute minus c. From that also you can get. Is it okay for 60?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else have any doubt up to 60? Okay. Any doubt about 61? That's fairly easy because the two given points at the center, they will subtend 90 degrees. So at any point on the circumference, they'll subtend half of that, which is 45 degrees. 62, length of intercept on y-axis, straightforward, 2 root f square minus c formula. 63, on x-axis, 2 root g square minus c. You can use that formula, you'll get it. And 64, length of the chord on a circle means 2 root r square minus d square, where d is the perpendicular distance from center to the given. Okay, any doubt about 65? Maybe we should discuss it, 65.
Sir.
The locus of center of circle which passes through origin and cuts off a length 4 units from the line x equal to 3. Okay, x equal to 3 is a line here, vertical line. There is a circle, there are a lot of circles passing through origin and maybe somewhat. Okay, somewhat like this. Not that the center has to be on y-axis. It need not be. It can be even like this. Or it can be a very big. But this length should be 4. This length should be 4. Okay, we should intersect x equal to 3 line at 2 points such that the distance between them is 4 and it should pass to origin. Okay. I think from the figure only I can easily do it. From the center is joined to the midpoint. Total is 4. This should be 2. This point is x1 comma y1. What is this length? This is what x equal to 3 line. So from here to here distance is x1. From here to here 3 means this will be 3 minus x1. Figure. Better to draw a circle first. This is the center. This is x equal to 3 line, and other origin is here. This is origin. This is, I'll take it as x1 y1. This is 2 units, but the line is x equal to 3. So this length is 3 minus x1. So that should be the radius. Based on 2 root r square minus d square formula also I can use it. But another way to find radius is this. R is root x1 square plus y1. So you can equate to root x1 square plus y1 square is equal to 3 minus x1. X square plus y square equal to 9 minus 6x plus x square. Cancel x square, we get it. It's a parabola. But you can got the equation. Y square equal to 9 minus 6. Normally, length of the chord, we have formula 2 root r square minus d square equal to 4. Okay, if you want to do that way, in the place of r square, you can substitute this x1 square plus y1 square. In the place of d, perpendicular distance from x1 y1 to a line, just simply use this formula, it will become 3 minus x1 whole square equal to 4. You simplify that same equation, you will get nothing. No, this I done wrong, right? So, radius is not this. This is 3 minus x1, this is 2 means radius will be root over 3 minus x1 whole square plus 2 square. From the right angle line. So x1 x square plus y square equal to 9 minus x plus x square plus 4. X square will cancel and y square equal to 13 minus 6. You get the same thing here. Okay, any other doubt? Anybody up to 65? Okay. How many have you completed trying all the questions in exercise 1C also?
Sir, I completed.
Sir, I had completed.
Well, I need to discuss the doubts. That's good. Okay, we'll continue with the theory for some time, then we'll see about the doubts.
Complete.
What is the last thing we discussed about conjugate points, right? So now we discuss about conjugate lines. Today's date is 17th, huh?
Yes.
Okay, conjugate lines. Regarding the conjugate points, what I said, if P is a point, it will have one polar. If you take any point on that anywhere as Q, then the polar of Q will definitely pass through P. Then I said P and Q are conjugate points, and the condition is S1 to equal to 0, because if this is X1 Y1, this S1 equal to 0, pass to X2 Y2. So S1 to equal to 0. And Q can be here or here or here, anywhere. As long as Q lies on polar of P, P and Q are conjugate points, right? Now, conjugate lines means what? If line L1 passes through pole of line L2 with respect to a circle, then line L2 passes through pole of line L1 with respect to the circle. The same. These two lines L1 and L2 are called conjugate lines. With respect to the circle. For every line, there will be infinite conjugate lines. With respect to the circle. Okay. So figures actually will be same in a sense. Let us say I have one line and it has a pole. Take any other line through that, for that pole will be on this line. Okay. You will be able to draw two tangents like this. Okay. So this is line L1, this is line L2. The pole of line L1 is P1, let us say pole of line L2 is P2. So L1 is passing through pole of the second line, then L2 is passing through pole of the first line. These are conjugate lines. But if a line is there and the pole is there, this also conjugate to this, this also conjugate, this also conjugate. Every line passing through pole is conjugate to this. So somebody wants, I'll read it once again. If line L1 passes to pole of line L2 with respect to a circle, then line L2 passes to pole of line L1 with respect to the same circle. These two lines L1 and L2 are called conjugate lines with respect to the circle. For every line, there will be infinite conjugate lines with respect to a circle. Sai Reshmita, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Puneet? Puneet, are you there? Anybody tried about that question that I asked? 3 circles touching 2 lines. The radius should be in geometric progression. I'm not even asking whether you got an explanation or not. I'm just asking whether you thought about, tried a little bit.
Sir, can you explain that question roughly, sir?
Question I should explain.
Yes, sir.
I said simply you take 2 intersecting lines, draw 3 circles like this. Okay, every circle is touching the previous circle and at least 2 lines. Okay, you have to show this radius, this radius, this radius are in geometric progression.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so everybody clear about this conjugate lines. For conjugate points, we gave formula S1 equal to 0. Let us give the formula for conjugate lines. Lines L1x plus M1y plus N1 equal to 0 and L2x plus M2y plus N2 equal to 0 or conjugate with respect to circle x square plus y square equal to a square if n1 n2 is equal to a square times l1 l2 plus m1 m2. Or if you want to connect r square and that r square. How to get this? The proof. Pole of line L1x plus M1y plus N1 equal to 0 is minus R square M1 by N1 minus R square M1 by N1. Now this should satisfy the second equation. Okay. Substitute it in L2, that is L2 into minus R square L1 by N1 plus M2 into minus R square M1 by N1 plus N2 equal to, we will get a minus R square L1 minus R square M1 plus N1 N2 equal to, send these to that side, we will get this. Implies M1 N2 equal to R square times L1 L2 plus M1. Harshrekar, have you tried exercise 1C? Harshikar, are you there? Okay, arranging this. Okay. This, please remember, this formula is only useful when center is origin. What if when center is not origin? Lines L1x plus M15 plus M1 equal to 0 and L2x plus M2y plus M2 equal to 0 are conjugate with respect to circle x square plus y square plus 2dx plus 12y plus t equal to 0. If I tried some conditional, right? But let us see the proof. What is the pole of L1x plus M1y plus N1 equal to 0 with respect to given circle, obviously. Because here center is not origin, I think we have another formula. Minus g plus r square by lg plus mf plus n. R square l by minus f plus r square m by lg plus mf minus n. Everywhere you have to put L1, M1 and O. Is this what I gave? Formula in the previous class? Pole of a line with respect to circle whose center is not origin. Can somebody check your class notes? All of you are able to hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is the formula that I wrote.
Yes, sir.
Now this I should put it in the second line. L2 into minus g plus r square L1 by L1g plus L1f 1 plus M2 into minus f plus r square L1 by L1g plus M2 equal to 0. Okay, so this is minus g L2 plus r square L1 L2 by L1g plus M1f minus M2 minus M2f plus r square M1 M2 by L1g plus M1f minus M1 plus M2 equal to 0. This one, and this one I can send to other side and these two I can combine. I will get r square L1 L2 plus M1 M2 by L1g plus M1f plus minus M1 equal to L2g plus M2f minus M2. And this one here we get r square into L1 L2 plus M1 M2 equal to L1g plus M1f 1 into L2g plus M2f minus M2. Okay, this is the formula I can write. basically somewhat like translation of axis, where when you translate the axis, the constant terms, the lines will change based on that somewhat.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, the question there in GP, sir.
Can you speak a little louder, please?
That question you gave now, sir. There
Yes. You got some idea?
I got there in GP, sir.
Okay. We'll discuss after some time at that. When I need to discuss, I'll ask you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm erasing this whole thing. Okay. There is something called inverse points. It may not be so. That means there are not so many questions based on that. In IP, they may ask, so I have to just discuss that. Two points, they are called inverse points if they satisfy three conditions. Okay, let's say this is acting the center C and the radius R. Let's see. Points P and Q are called points P and Q are called inverse points. With respect to a circle with center C and radius R. if they should satisfy three conditions. First condition is CPQ should be collinear. Okay, PCQ should be in one line. So if I draw one line center, P can be anywhere on this, Q can be anywhere on this. Something. Next, CP into CQ should be R square. CP into CQ should be R square. So maybe P is here, Q is here, but CP length and CQ length, the product should be the radius also. If I give point P, how many choices will be there for Q? What do you think? I'll give the center and radius and point P. How many choices will be there for Q?
Two, sir.
2. Because if there is a point here, there will be a point this side also the same distance, right? Okay. But actually Q is unique because of one more condition. That is P comma Q should be on same side of C. So if something satisfies these three conditions, they will be unique. If P is fixed, Q is fixed on. Because they should be in the same line, otherwise Q can be here, Q can be here. If, they should be on the same side, so Q cannot be this side, and this length into this length should be R square. If something satisfies these three, then those 2 points are called inverse point with respect to the circle. I think we can easily notice if P is inside the circle, Q will be outside the circle. Am I correct? Anybody want to tell why? If P is inside the circle, Q has to be outside the circle. If both are inside the circle, what will happen to CP into CQ?
Less than R square.
Less than R square. And if both are outside?
Greater than
Better.
Greater than R square. We want equal to R square means if one of them is less than R, other one has to be greater than R. Okay. So note. For each P or for each point, inverse point is unique. For each point, inverse point is unique. Next, if P is interior to circle, Q is exterior to circle. If P is exterior to circle, then Q is interior to circle. Right? What if P lies on circle? And then Q also should lie. If CP is R, CQ also should be R. Rather, P and Q should be same. Because if P is here, CP is R, CQ should be R, and on the same side means there it should be there only. If a point is on the circle, it is itself is an inverse point. One may ask, what is the use of inverse point? Actually, there is a whole geometry called inverse geometry. There are a lot of properties, and it has some practical applications and some facts which are difficult to prove in pure geometry, but easy to prove in inverse geometry. You prove there, and you can use that result here. They are at higher level. We don't have to worry. For us, only this much is there. What is inverse point, and we will also see how to find inverse point. That's all. Otherwise, what are the uses of that? We don't have in our days because. Okay, so far anybody any doubt about this? Yochana, are you there in the class? Yochana Preeti? Okay. So even though this definition, everything is nice, if they give a circle equation and P is given, we want to find Q. From this definition, we can find it, but little effort is required. How to find it? Let us say they give you P. Clearly find CP length and use this one and find CQ length. You know center, you know CQ length. You can even know the slope. From that, you know inclination. And then use parametric form x1 plus r cos theta, y1 plus r sin theta. So like that we can find out. Somebody can find this line equation and then do some work about it. But much easier than that. If you take a circle, from an external point you draw two tangents. This is the center. This is the center, this is some A, this is some B, and let us say this is some L and this is some M. So L is an external point, I draw two tangents, AB is the chord of contact, the midpoint is M. Actually for L, the inverse point is M. CL into CM is radius whole square. Anybody want to prove from this figure how CL into CM is R square? Forget about all this. Simply from this figure, like in school level, 9th class, 10th class, is it possible to prove CL into CM is radius whole square?
Yes, sir. 1 minute.
How? How to prove?
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
1 minute you are saying, okay.
Triangle AMC is similar to
Triangle
AMC.
AMC, okay.
Is similar to LAC.
Yes, correct.
So R by CL is equal to R by CL.
This is theta, this is R. Angle ACM is equal to and is equal to 90 degrees.
CBM.
So by AA similarity, number of mute person. By AA similarity, triangle AMC is similar to triangle LAC. If two angles are equal, they're similar triangles. Then you will get, I can even take cos theta without using similar triangles. From this small triangle, what is cos theta? CM by radius. From this big triangle, what is cos theta? Adjacent side is R and hypotenuse is CM. For this small right angle triangle, hypotenuse is radius, adjacent side is CM. For the big right angle triangle, adjacent side is R and hypotenuse is CM. That's if we got CM into CM equal to R. So L and M are inverse points. Okay, so we are going to use this to find inverse point. Okay. So how to find inverse point of a given point P. Find the polar of P. Then find foot of P on this line, or find foot of center on this line, or solve polar of P and line C. Okay, if they really give you P, how to find inverse point? Find this line. What is that chord of contact? You can even say polar S1 equal to 0. Because sometimes L may be here, M may be here. If L is given, how do you find this? Find polar of that, you get a line here, not a big issue. Now, once you know this line, how will you find this point? Foot of L on that you can find, foot of C you can find, or solve this line and this line also you'll get it. Instead of L and M, you can use P and Q here also. How do you use P and Q? So find the polar of the given point, then find foot of P or foot of C, or solve this line and this line. You will get the inverse point. So the definition is something else, but how we find inverse point, the process is something else because of this property here. Okay, everybody completed this? Saket, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Completed?
1 minute.
Saptarshi Mandali completed?
No, sir, the last part, sir.
Okay. Anybody any doubt? Please ask.
Yes, sir, done.
Okay. Those who tried this past year mains questions, can I take a class at 3 o'clock for clarifying doubts?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So today afternoon 3 o'clock we'll meet. Last time I sent one Zoom ID personally. I'll send this once again, the same Zoom ID.
Sir, only for those who tried, sir. Only for those who tried past year means, sir.
Anybody can attend. I'll only clarify the doubts. Okay. Of course, after their doubts are over, if somebody says want me to discuss some question, I'll discuss. But for those who tried, I want to discuss doubts first. Okay. Write one question. Maybe that is also like theory also you can call it. Area of triangle formed by tangents from P. Tangents from P and chord of contact of P with respect to circle S equal to 0 is R into S11 whole power 3 by 2 by S11 plus R square. Okay, so we have a circle, we have an external point, you can draw two tangents. This is the part of contact, this is the center. This is P, this is A, this is B, this is theta by 2, this is theta by 2. We know this is root S11, this is root S11. Area of triangle, we can use half AB sin C. Area of triangle ABC is normally half AB sin C. So like that here, area of triangle PA half into product of two sides into sine of angle between them, which is sin theta. This is root S11, this is root S11, and the sin theta is 2 tan theta by 2 by 1 plus tan square theta by 2. And we already know tan theta by 2 is r by root S11. Half into S11. This is r by root S11. This is r square by S11. So I can take LCM and cancel here. Cancel to root S11 into r by S11 plus r square into another S1. That's it. R into S11 power 3 by 2 by S11 plus r square. Half AB sin C, that's what we used. Product of two sides into sine of angle between them and half of the total. Okay. Sometimes they'll ask another simple question. They can ask area of quadrilateral PACB. Area of quadrilateral PACB is easy because it is actually combination of two right angle triangles. PCA.
R1S.
Yes, correct.
Sir, R root S1.
Yeah, correct. 2 times the area of triangle PCA. Or you can write triangle PCA area plus triangle PCB area. 2 times area of triangle PCA. That is half into R into root S11 because you can make this as the base, this as the base. R root S1. That's a very simple one. So anyway, we discuss on the same figure, I can tell that's fine. So there will be many questions about this kind of areas. Sometimes they may give this point, sometimes this point, sometimes these 2 points, something they may give. We just basically see how to find this length or these angles and see from the figure itself how to find it using a little bit of geometry formula or properties of triangle formula. That's it. Okay, everybody completed this?
Yes, sir.
Uday Aditya completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let us see exercise 1D you can complete now. I'll just show you the questions, that's all. Okay, you can see on the screen exercise 1D. Very first question, find the condition that the tangents drawn from a point to a circle are perpendicular. You can use tan theta by 2 equal to R by root S11. Where theta is 90 degrees. Next, find chord of contact of some point with respect to circle S1 equal to 0. Find chord of contact of some point with respect to circle S1 equal to 0. Polar of a point means S1 equal to 0. All right. Next, they gave a line, and I'm talking about 7th question. They want a pole of a line with respect to a circle. If you remember formula minus R square L by N minus R square M by N, you can use it. If you don't remember, let the pole be X1 by 1, find polar S1 equal to 0 and compare with this. The next one, center is not origin. So you may have to use minus G plus R square L by LG plus MF minus N, that formula. If you don't remember that, again, let the pole be x1, y1, find polar and compare. We have done one question in the class. So 10 and 11, they were gave 2 points and the circle, they said you have to show their conjugate points. Simply use S12 equal to 0, you'll get it. So in question number 12 and 13, they gave 2 lines, the circle, and we have to prove that they are conjugate lines. Okay. Or we have to find value of k if they are conjugate lines. Conjugate points is easier because S1 equal to 0, but conjugate lines, especially when center is not origin, if you remember that formula, what is that? N1, N2 equal to R square into L1G plus M1F minus N1 into L2G plus M2F minus N2. You can do that. But if it is a lengthy question, you want to do it a proper way. You take that line where k is not there. Assume the pole is x1, y1. Find polar. Compare with that line. Really find the pole. Basically, find pole of one of the lines where there is no k. Substitute that pole in the second line. We'll get k value. Okay. Spend some time looking at the class notes. I gave the solutions PDF also. I sent, right? IP solutions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can look in that PDF. Still, if you have doubt, I'm ready to discuss. 14 and 15 are very easy because conjugate points means simply S12 equal to 0. Okay, section 2. The first 3 questions are they gave a point and a circle. They want an angle between the tangent. Simply use tan theta by t equal to R by root S11. Fourth one, fifth one, they said from an external point, the 2 tangents are drawn, angle between them is alpha, what is the locus? Take that point as x1, y1, use tan theta by t equal to R by root S11, we'll get it. 6 and 7, they said find polar. Oh, they gave a point, do S1 equal to 0, will get polar, and they want slope and something. That's fairly simple actually. Okay, look at section 3, first question. You can look on the screen. Screen is on the board, sorry. I'll give you, look at the whiteboard. I'll give you the circle and a line. I'll give you circle equation and the line that are intersecting at 2 points. This is given, this is given. You have to draw tangent here, and find this point. If circle and line are given, how will we find this point? Anybody? That is indirectly they are asking
Sir,
pole
we
only.
should compare that with S1 equals to. Sir, let the point be x1, y1 and compare the line with x1 equals to 0.
Point x1, y1, find s1 equal to 0 and compare. It is actually indirectly pole only. For this line, this point is called pole. How will you find? Same thing. Okay, so in the same way, you can try to do other questions. You may have few doubts. When you try, I will discuss. But most of the, I said section 1, section 2 are very straightforward questions based on the formula. So whether I do it or you do it, formula I mentioned, you just use the formula, right? Okay, so you can try to complete exercise 1D and on the simultaneously mains, you can go beyond 65 now because they are about part of contact and polar only. You'll be able to do that. As I said already, parity I'm teaching towards me the work also, homework will be accordingly that much. You have to spend more time. You know how many days are allotted for me to teach circles and system of circles? IP, mains material and advanced material and all the theory and all. These 27 classes. And including today, you know how many classes I am taking? How many hours, including today? 22 hours. For 10 days are over. Today is 11th day. So I have in 5 days I have to complete rest of the theory, mains material doubts, and we have to discuss some questions in advanced material. So that means we are quite way behind. So you should not take too much time for doing IP homework and all that. Okay, I'm sending the solutions. There are most of them are straightforward applications of formulas. So you should do them. All right, next topic. Relative positions of circuits. Okay. Before doing this, before writing anything, basically when two circles are given to you, they can be completely separate like this. They can touch like this. We say they are touching externally. They can touch like this. We say they are touching internal. Here we say they are intersecting circles. Of course, intersecting circles can be like this also. They can intersect either way. That means this center can be outside, this center can be inside. Okay. Next, one circle can be completely inside the other, including concentric. So these are the 5 cases for two circles. Completely exterior to each other, touching externally, touching internally, or intersecting both together, and one is inside the other. When two circles equations are given, how will you know they belong to which kind of case? It's actually very, very simple. Okay. Before writing, just imagine this, such a simple thing. Let us say I have a circle with radius r1. I have a smaller circle with radius r1. Alright. What I want to do is, I want to keep this circle fixed and to slowly move this circle towards this. Right now, the distance between the centers, this center and this center, the distance, can I say it is more than R1 plus R2?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Because we have R1 here, R2 here, some extra part, it will be R1 plus R2. So, whenever two circles equations are given, you will be able to find this center, this radius, and this radius. And based on the centers, you can find distance between the centers. If distance between the centers is much more than R1 plus R2, they are exterior to each other. Let us say move the circle little close. They are like this. Just touching.
Equal to R1 plus R2.
Then the distance between the centers will be equal to R1 plus R2. Very easy. Move a little bit closer. Like this. Then what happens? Up to here is R1 and up to here is R2. There is some overlap here. So D will be R1 plus R2 or less than that?
Less than that. Less than that.
Less than that.
Overlap, right? Let us say keep it completely inside now. This total is R1 and this is R2. Radius. Now what the distance the centers will be?
R1 minus R2.
R1 minus R2. If I move it little bit out, my distance will be more than R1 minus R2. If you want them to be intersecting, not only it should be less than R1 plus R2, but it should be more than R1 minus R2 also. Okay. If it is exactly R1 minus R2, they will be touching internal. But I will bring a little bit closer. My circle is like this. Then this whole thing is R1. And if I remove R2, from R1, if I remove R2, I will get this piece and even this piece also. From total R1, if I remove R2. So, that is not just distance between centers, something extra. That means right now the distance between centers is less than R1 minus R2 also. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
This is D. R1 is this, R2 is this. R1 plus R2 is not only D plus something else. Okay, so basically what is happening is your D is slowly decreasing and you are getting different cases. That's what we say. Okay, next one more thing. Whenever two circles are there, if a line is touching this circle and this circle both, a tangent to this circle also, tangent to this circle also, that line is called common tangent. That line is called common tangent. The word itself says common tangent. Within common tangent, there are two types. One is this and one is this. This is also common tangent touching both the circles. This is also common tangent touching both the circles. But there is a difference. Here both circles are on the same side of the tangent. Here they are on either side of the tangent. So this kind of tangent is called direct common tangent. And this kind of thing is called transverse common tangent. Direct common tangent and transverse common tangent. If we take two circles like this and take this tangent, which kind of tangent is that, direct or transverse?
Transverse.
Because one is on this side, one is on this side, right? Of course, there is a difference between this tangent because this is a tangent to this circle at this point, to this circle at this point. But whereas this is tangent to both circles at the same. Okay, so that is called common tangent at the point of contact, and this is this form. But anyway, we'll see. Okay, so I have to write position of circuits, condition, and number of DC direct common tangent. If you have space, you write. I am not writing, but you write number of direct common tangents. Number of TCT transverse common tangents and number of tangents. Okay. So here two circles are completely separate. Okay. So you can write circles are exterior to each other. Circles are exterior to each other. The condition is C1, C2. C1, C2 is distance between the centers should be less than R1 plus R. This is C1, this is R2. Number of direct common tangents will be 2. One like this, one like this. Right. One like this and one like this. And then the rest. Total 4 common tangents, 2 direct and 2 transverse. Circles are touching externally. Then C1, C2 is exactly R1 plus R. Direct common tangents will be 2, one here, but transverse common tangents only will be 1. So we get 2 here, 1 here, 14. If somebody wants to draw the figure also, there 2 direct common tangents are these 2, and 2 transverse common tangents are these 2. Here 2 direct common tangents are these 2, and the 2 transverse common tangents are these 2. Go to draw the figures so that it will remember better. Stays with you.
Sir, in the first one, C1, C2 is more than R1 plus R2.
That's greater than. Thank you. So please write here C1, C2 is greater than R1 plus R. Please correct this. Okay, circles are intersecting each other. Then C1, C2 is less than R1 plus R2 at the same time greater than R1 minus R2. Both are required. And this will be 2, this will be 0, and what it will be here because they are intersecting only two directions. And there will not be any transverse at all. Alright. We have two more cases. Okay, circles touching internally. Condition C1, C2 is exactly R1 minus R2 with a mod because we don't know R1 is greater or R2 is greater. Direct common tangents will be 1, transverse common tangent will be 0, total will be 1. Direct common tangent will be okay, one is inside the one circle is completely interior to other. That is C1, C2 is less than R1 minus. This is 0, this is 0. No direct common tangent, no, there cannot be any common tangent at all, not possible. Okay, so everybody clear all the 5 cases? So whenever they give 2 circles, you simply find center of the first circle, center of the second circle, find distributive centers, find R1 and R2, and find R1 plus R2 and R1 minus R2. And then see whether the distributive centers is, basically you can write here, mod R1 minus R2, mod R1 plus R2, and a T. Distributive center. If it is more than this, exterior to each other. If it is less than this, one is interior to the other. If it is between these two, they are intersect. If it is this touching external, this is touching internal. Okay, you have to see that D is here or here or here, or equal to this or equal to this. That's how we can find. Okay, I'm arranging this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say 2 circles are touching each other externally, like this. How to find this common tangent? Anybody want to give an idea?
Equation of the common tangent, sir.
Equals a common tangent at the point of at the common
S
point.
minus S dash, sir.
Simply subtract, you'll get it. Next, how will you find this point of contact of the 2 circles?
Sir, foot of the perpendicular from center to that point.
Okay, that's good. Any other method anybody want to say how to find the point of contact?
S1 equals to S2.
No, the common tangent is S1 S dash equal to 0. But what I'm asking is, if I give this circle equation, how will you find this common point? If you know that they are touching externally.
Sir,
Hmm.
equation of line passing through midpoints of both the circles is perpendicular to tangent, no sir.
Midpoint don't use because here the center radius are different. This center is here, this center is here. They'll have midpoint somewhere in this. Yeah, this line is perpendicular to this. I agree to that. Always the common tangent is perpendicular line joining centers, but not passing through midpoint. That's not right.
Do we know R1 and do we know the centers?
Yes, we know centers and radius.
Sir, then we can sir, we know what is R1 is to R2 now, sir. Then we can find.
Yes, we can use section formula.
Yes.
C to R1, R2. If they are touching externally, use internal ratio. If they are touching internally, use external ratio. So this point is dividing these two R1 is to R2 internal. Yes. So just to these points only will write. So just for the sake of notes. Some points you can write. If circles are touching, if circles S equal to 0, comma S dash equal to 0 are touching, internally or externally doesn't matter. S minus S dash equal to 0 is the equation of common tangent at common point, at point of contact. Foot of either center any one of the center, foot of either center on this line, on this common tangent, on this common tangent will give point of contact. So apart from that, C1, C2, R1, R2, this is P. P divides C1, C2 internally in the ratio R1 is to R2. So by the section formula also you can find. This is C1, this is C2, this is P. Of course, the line joining centers and P are always collinear. I don't know if this is specifically done that. C divides C1, C2 external in the ratio R1 is to R2. So by using section formula, you can find point of contact, or by find S minus S dash equal to 0, you'll get a line, find foot of either center on that, also can find point of contact.
So
Yes, please.
we can also find the equation of line passing through both the centers and solve the both equations. Like
You can also say solve, like we have said here, solve line C1, C2. That is solve line joining centers and S minus S dash equal to 0. Okay. To find point of contact. Like that also you can do. Okay, if somebody not able to read, solve line joining centers and that common tangent S minus S dash equal to 0 to find point of contact. Okay, so tomorrow we'll discuss about the three circles touching and the geometry progression. We'll also discuss some more things which if somebody wants to spend some time, you can spend. Let us say I have two circles. I know their centers, I know their radius. How to find this length of common tangent? Okay, direct common tangent and similarly transverse common tangent. So how to find that length, we'll see tomorrow. Okay.
So what are given to us, sir?
The two circles equations are given. That means you know centers, you know radius, you know distance between the centers. You have to find length of common tangent. Okay. Direct and transverse. We almost somewhat similar to that. Let us say I have a line. Two circles are touching like this. Okay. I'll give you this center and radius. I'll give you this center and radius. I already said I'll ask you how to find this length. Apart from that, I may ask you, there is one more circle like this, touching this one, and this line. What is the radius of that? These two circles are. Okay. So this is just add for tomorrow's class coming up. All right. You know, like these serials and all, they will show little bits of the next, what do you call that, episode. You know, so that people feel, motivated to see when it's going to come. Okay. So these are coming up. All right. All right. Thank you. We will end the class.